I used a laptop to avoid getting bored, even though I didn't like what was on SnootTube. You're not ending 4 Inko, man. You are totally into SnootTube. Also, and most people like, it's you, Snoot. Whatever. It said I looked at photography courses. The tutorial seemed too simple for me. What are you talking? I mean, admittedly, you did take an AP photography. That's been like years ago, and you've not kept up since then. For new people, Inko, there is a strong implication over the course of Wani, over Wani Gator, that you are not in any way an experienced photographer. And also, you would have almost certainly forgotten all that by the point that this story would start. They were paid. I mean, admittedly, you might have kept up. You might have kept up a little bit during Olivia's early days, just to get her stuff out there. There were paid courses, even photography outside, even a photography university. Those do not exist. Those do not exist. Those can't exist. That is way too niche. Outside the city of Okadera that I could access. I could start a new life, try to be the Inko I used to be, make new friends, and it would definitely be extremely expensive, but it'd be well worth the sacrifice. But a sacrifice I would have to make if I wanted to become what I wanted to be. Yeah, man. Time to get some proper adult decisions to make. Do I want to keep the life I have or try for something better? I had to be diligent, look out for myself and no one else, friends, and none of that. Instead of, oh man, after school arcades. It's been years! Surely you haven't gone back there as adults, especially in the miserable state you are. Although maybe that's the perfect place to go since you're yearning for your youth. You're going to someone else's. I could be working a city even harder to be the person I always wanted to be. You know, I kind of like that Inko is showing an interesting personality trait of like, I'm done with this, right? He is genuine, like, I'm fucking done with this. I want to do something else, and I want to be anywhere but here. He saw that scar in his face and realized that, fuck it. I can't wait for this stuff to happen. Someone who had a good rating with the public. Oh my god, that is, a terrible sentence. But two, kind of on par for what Inko would say. He's not naive enough to say rating in that ironic, like, oh man, I want to get a good TikTok like from my friends. No. But I could see being the kind of person who would think in those terms, you know. Someone the public admires and likes. Inko, you have the charisma of a brick. You're not even a brick thrown through a window. I let myself be pushed around too much these past years. Too much. I hope he's overcompensating here, because it's always fun when a character acknowledges a flaw and overcompensates in the worst ways. Because that's very human. Is you finally realize a mistake, so logically you take too many steps. These past few years have been a total waste of money and time. And I let my head or just thinking of it. That's just a migraine because you had a head injury. It's nothing to do with this. I didn't understand the exact reason. A movement from the doorway caught my attention. Those pink scales. Oh, it's Damien! I didn't want to see the boy. He's wearing his kimono. Who the fuck is this? Wait, who is this? I didn't want to. Oh, laying the bed of a castle. It's Vinny? You probably if you were 4 years old. But he was an adult, and he knew that. So, assuming we're 4 years later, and Vinny is at most 13, because he's not in high school, as far as we can tell. At most, he's 17. He is A, not an adult. And B, Vinny is way too naive. He's probably 7, right? I think he comes across too naive to really be of that much of an age. Also, I'm sorry, I have to stop the music. Beans, I gotta go down. Not related to the story, actually. I walked down the street recently, and I saw a 5-year-old kid say 6'7", 6'7", and all I can say is, I'm pretty sure 6'7" is old news, man. It's old fucking news. You lame-ass 5-year-old, you're not keeping up with the trends, buddy. Also, there was like a smaller 3-year-old with him who's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Hee. I love it. That's kids for you, baby. But also, he doesn't wear a kimono. He wears a gi. It's called a fucking gi. Kimono is like a whole separate garment. Hey, it's a thing women can also wear, or generally wear. It's generally associated with women in cultural context for Western countries. I think kimonos are gender neutral there. But, it's a casual garment. And B, it's not even worn for sports. But I do like that he's still, like, on board with Vinny. However, again, if Vinny's maximum age is, like, 12, at the best, and he's not 12. That kid has ADHD if he's 12. He'd be 16, right? I think Vinny is not the kind of kid to grow up well, considering what he does and how he talks and how he acts over the course of Wani. Like, if he's trying to be an adult, I imagine it's extremely forced, and he's not comfortable with it. The boy came over to my bed. Hi, Inko. Honestly, I want to point this out. I feel like a big missed opportunity of a lot of these future stories is just like Vinny, because like we don't know how old Vinny is. I feel like one of the big decisions you have to make is like how actually fucking old is Vinny? I like to go with 7. I like to go with he's 7 years old. He's clearly not in puberty. He's clearly quite short. You know, he's old enough to speak decent English, but not old enough that he's starting to have bigger ideas. So he might be a tween, maybe, but he's probably under 10. Then again, I'm not around kids enough to know ages very well. I already have difficulty guessing ages of like actual normal human beings my own age. So I don't know, man. I need to look at more people's faces and heights. Maybe I should take a scale with me wherever I go and just start weighing people. Nico, it's rude to ask a woman for her weight. And I'm like, I need to know this. It's for writing. What would I whisper? As he looked into your eyes. Listen, Vinny, I like how this guy is supposed to be an adult, and he's like just directly jabbing you in the eye. He was shy despite his open personality like his brother. I would like it if... Again, Vinny has ADHD or something like that. Is one thing. It'd be kind of cute if like he was a very energetic young child, and because everyone chided him for it, or because things with Olivia went kind of poorly because Olivia's withdrawn, he became more shy and withdrawn because he cares about people. Similar to like Damien. Whereas Damien became this savant for emotional states enough that he could kind of navigate things. Vinny just withdrew himself and realized that if he was quiet and polite, people would generally tolerate him a lot more. Again, fucking character development that happens over 4 fucking years. If Vinny is 12, right? I assure you, 12-year-olds do not remember much about being 3 or 4. 4 years is like half of his life. Hello, Dwarf. I haven't seen you. That's just rude, man. It's the barbecue in the summer. We had a fight with Damien. What? Oh, that's when it sent... Man, that's been a while. So this is, in case you forgot, in the last chapter, it's implied that Damien threw away, like, a ring during the summer after they graduated, which would be the summer of 2024 for them. How would he be 4 years old? Oh, no, as if he's 4 years old. Safi, you're getting very confused. Again, I can't see him being an adult, though. It's been, like, 3 to 4 years. And Vinny is not 15. If he is, he has serious hormonal problems. This is what happens when you put your kids on super puberty blockers. They don't they make them into babies. Man, super puberty blockers are the ones that I don't want you to know about. That's how old people stay young. They turn into babies. And they poop their diapers. His gaze was somewhat glazed. I can't believe he's glazing you in this state. He felt sorry to see Mr. Soda. I feel like you could rewrite the sentence to keep the same thing. I would prefer it if you start off with, like, Inko's emotions. How does Inko feel about that? Honestly, I think you could go with a cute sentence, like, keep the same thing, but, like, I felt sorry seeing how sorry you felt for my condition or something like that. I don't know. It's just a cute little Inkoism. Because Inko does care about other people. He is very... He derives a lot of his sense of self and all from his environment, so it makes sense that he would be frustrated if someone looks at him and goes, "Urgh." As all I had any problems with, neither had the pains, but they let themselves be influenced by Damien that night. So yeah, they probably listened to Damien because Damien is emotionally quite smart, so whatever he had to say was taken with an extra grain of salt and treated as, like, important as a result. Whereas Vinny feels like the kind of kid who's like, he must be in his tweens by this point. He's at least 11, like I said. I personally think that he has to be at least 7 years old. Actually, I could just look it up. Maybe someone out there has an answer. Man, it does not tone in on this. Well, at least Google doesn't help. Wah, wah. Maybe I can find some on the Steampedia page. But yeah, since Vinny is into, like, Mr. Beast and stuff and does not seem to have a very sophisticated opinion about anything, I can't imagine. Because the way I put it in my head, right, 7 to 8 is like where you start hitting the point where you're old enough that novelty starts being something else and you want some more depth out of things. You start to have an understanding, and they enter into the awkward tween period where social dynamics start to slowly mature into something about groups and cliques and opinions and things. And then I become a teenager and all that. You know, like, the funny part is, because of how children work, right? Because children are constantly exposed to their own parents, a child can be very heavily defined by their own relationship to adults, right? Like, is a child, as in someone under 18, or hell, under 26, if you ask me, because I don't think you're fucking adult until you're like 20 years old, beyond even slightly. Like, they can be defined by how they relate to their environment. And I think that's kind of why people think that 18 is like where you become an adult, is because that's the part where you start to kind of act like an adult. Like, you don't think like one yet. You don't have the capacity to make, like, smart decisions on a grander scale because you've not been exposed to the threats that adults have to face, you know. You're not an adult, as I said. You're not done growing yet. You're a stupid idiot who's going to put himself full of beer. But I feel like, as a young kid, you're like, adults take care of me. And then it becomes, I want to be like an adult because adults, they get all this cool stuff. And then slowly begin to realize that how adults really work. And so you turn back into yourself again. That's kind of what tweens and teens are. And as you become a teen, you want to be seen as an adult. You want to actually be one regardless of what that means to you as a person. I don't know. I need to talk to someone who actually knows what they're talking about this for once, but that's such a weird topic to research given that I wouldn't have any place to really use any of this knowledge. Man, I'm talking too much. Let's move on. Just because I have a lot... whatever. Anyway... sworn so many times to hate the pains and have considered that he was included. I kept... Inko, you're allowed to not hate all of the pains and just leave it to the people that were meaningfully involved. Because Vinny was not involved with the story all that much. It's also not even ending on where he did do something. What happened to you? It looked like a monster attacked you. Yeah, about that. But what if they told you? Like, really had an accident. I feel like his face should not be thoughtful. Like, assuming he's 12, I feel like he should be a bit more blunt about it. You know, kind of have him, like, shrug. Like, I don't know. They told me you had an accident. Because I don't think he's the kind of kid who would theatrically gesture like that to appear thoughtful. You would already know this, right? You would already know this. This is loaded into RAM. I can become that kind of person who talks shit about others. Oh my god, don't talk shit about his parents, man. He's right there. Can stairs scratch? Oh, you'd be surprised. Well, if you move quickly enough, you know, solid stone surfaces like most pavements are made out of. Will the monster technique work? Maybe it's one of those 12. Okay, so he's 12 years old. I guess the term adult is more meant like he wants to be seen as one. But for 3 years, yeah, we are going with like, you know, 7, 8. What if I told him I was a burglar? I was struggling and boom. Olivia did this to me. She didn't mean to. Oh man. It was a white lie. I was following when she tried to catch me. Oh, don't! I like how he's covering up for her though. For one main reason. It's worth pointing out that remember that this Inko is a big fat simp. And he basically kissed Olivia's butt for a long while. It kind of makes sense that like his first thing, if he's in a non-heightened emotional state, is to defend her. Like that could work. Because it's like, yeah, he's been doing that all his life. Of course, the first thing he would do when confronted with it and not having the time to think it over, he'd just go for it. That, and he also kind of, again, it's already implied because he's like, I don't know, I don't want to include Vinny with the hating the pains. He'd naturally be a little nicer about it. Try to hold my hand. Let's give it the prayers, but it's not really a white light, just emitted a detail. Bye-bye, it's fine, it'll recover. There's no uppercase there. Take it easy, don't overthink. Last memories of the fall. I like how you're falling to your death and you're like, man, I got such a cool-ass wife. It's not a bad thing, but she sucked ass in ending 2. Never imagine myself saying about it. She didn't wake up. Oh, he's thinking about ending 1. But I love it for what she'd done to me. I wouldn't wish upon the same thing that happened to me. I had a crisis. Direct velocity could calm that. I don't like how much this author likes to call back to things that have happened in such a way that it implies that this is happening right now. Because I get what you're trying to say. But like this is why you use words like then. Then I had a crisis and drank the lots of alcohol to calm down after that dream. Which also the then, it might be a linking word, but it carries a certain meaning with it because it makes this next sentence feel kind of blasé, almost like he's already processed it and just feels bad about it and doesn't want to give it a 10. I don't know, man. I almost threw up after dreaming about it. So why did Olivia hurt her nails? Why would you call them nails? They're claws. She did that to herself because she hurt you, right? Oh no. Imagine that her claws could survive like hitting a human face, though. I don't think your skin is that tough. Humans went slower, they're weaker, strength to endurance, they don't have tails, or... Stop regrets regarding my kind dwarf. Dwarf is such a weird thing to call Vinny. Because he's like... He's not like a weirdly short length, right? He's just a kid. We have our own strength. Also, Inko would never use the term dwarf. He feels like the kind of person like, ah, you can't say dwarf, that's insensitive to small people, to little people. Or whatever term they go with these days. I think a little person was for a while considered the right thing, but little to me has too many odd connotations, entirely because of my own exposures, shall we say. We have our own strengths. What are they? And this is the part that I don't like. I feel like too few people are actually willing to think about what makes humans durable. And I think you can get really far by just saying that humans have stronger immune systems, right? Because then it's like, why can't dinosaurs defeat humans? Well, because if humans decide to start spreading a bio weapon, they'll survive and dinosaurs will eat shit and die. Right? Because dinosaurs just can't make it as far, right? When the Black Plague came, humans were the ones who stuck around. Also, I like the idea that humans just have more endurance, because humans are endurance hunters and dinosaurs aren't! That's not how, like, yes, they're probably, like, stronger muscular, but they are they are good at bursts of exertion. Humans outlast you by hunting or fighting long spans of time. Well, making fun of humans was a little racist. I also feel like not enough people actually address the fact that Olivia is, in fact, kind of racist. And I do like that Inko is just like, oh, she's just joking around. Of scaleless people. Now, this is like a really small thing, right? But calling himself scaleless instead of saying skinned is that it implies that to be scaled is the default state of being. Scaliness is normal. Scalelessness is a thing to be called out instead of being skinned versus scaled. Because we have greater capacity endurance. That's not exactly how that works. It just allows you for greater capacity for heat regulation. You know, your capacity to go to the fucking Arctic without dying, but also go to the deserts without dying. I feel like, again, very few people call out the fact that shouldn't humans have, like, a unique ability to survive colder climates since they're not warm-blooded, right? Like, dinosaurs could never actually conquer humans because they can't go that far north. They need special equipment and tools, and that makes them you know, suspendable. Ugh. I remember that Olivia was fascinated by this fact about humans and wanted to test me to use. What an interesting race. I have a pancreas, you know. I can actually digest sugars. As he followed me just from the sit in the chair next to me. I do have to say, the fact that we're bringing Vinny into this when most people disregard Vinny as a character, outside of using him for goofs and gags. Because remember, in Ending 1, Vinny is kind of used for a big dramatic thing. In a very innocent way to indicate just how much Olivia is separated from the pains, that even something from a child who's trying his best is treated as something to be treated with disdain and, you know, frustration. He was tired from karate he was doing. That's why he showed up in a kimono, man. He's a geisha. A geisha, I think. I can't believe Vinny is so styling. Cha-cha real smooth. And he fell asleep. I like how he just falls asleep. This man showed up to talk to you and goes, oh. Did he ever talking to me about Olivia non-stop? Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Ugh. Possibly more than half a year passed without us having a proper conversation. Yes, I saw him again at the accident for the conversation. I was asking himself why he didn't tell Vinny the truth. You know, First things first. And the crutch that helped him walk. Also, could it be a bit all shit that docked him? What did he come for? He wanted. Wait, Damien was here? I feel like Damien's introduction's been skipped over. Oh. Oh, Damien's been here the whole time. I just missed that exact sentence. Ugh. I just figured this would be kind of weird. Okay, so what? So he lied to Vincent, and Damien knows what you come for. He wanted to see you. I bet your 500 apology, Mrs. Damien. Don't we all? I'm not the president to beat around the bush. He's not the president of beating around the bush. Stop making excuses. What? What a weird sentence to include that he's being hit by sunshine. Like, unless you're thematically trying to indicate that Damien is, like, in a better position or he's the light or whatever. Listen, Damien, for fuck's sake! My eye almost got gouged out. Stop apologizing. I've had enough. They burnt the word so much that I doubt I'll ever feel anything in it again. I like what you're trying to say, but that could be a better sentence if you just wrote it better, because that's an interesting way to put it. Like, the word's worn out. Like a flat tire. Just completely smooth. Goes smooth over my smooth brain. Damien seemed to break down for a few moments. I love it when I break down for a few seconds and then I'm like, actually, I'm not broken down. I know what to do. I want to fix this, but I don't know what to do. I'm useless. I would kind of like it if Damien was. Remember, Damien is the person keeping the group together, you know, between Liz and Olivia and all that. So you could play off that angle of like his normal techniques don't work anymore. Time, Damien, time. Good to post me at a time like this. As long as you'll be keeping it. Wait! Didn't this happen like years ago? Isn't it like been like at least 2 years? You've been in the garden looking for this thing? Like, that's kind of cute, but I imagine someone would have picked it up or found it or it's buried in the dirt by this point. It's a metal ring. The soil gets soft and soggy, it sinks. I imagine that's how it works. Gold's pretty heavy. As are most metals, actually. Most metals sink, funnily enough. Now, why didn't you tell Liv the ring? Frowned. Really, Damien? You and the Pains told me not to tell her. I was going to, but she and I had an argument, and I just stopped caring. Wait a minute. So, Damien pulled off a massive dick move, basically ruining the relationship of his friends. And he was like, hey, could you not tell my wife I'm fucking you guys over? What an asshole! Wow, Damien, fuck you! That's a real big low. I get it that he's trying to avoid consequences, but I feel like that would work better if he tried to get the ring afterwards and hand it over immediately. It's like, oh, sorry, that was an emotional outburst, I didn't mean to do that. I like how Inko's like, I just didn't tell her because I couldn't give a shit. Go with little sapphires. Oh, it's with an uppercase, so it's little me's, I guess. I guess I'm on the ring. What am I doing in this story again? One gave with a feather it had. Oh my god. I get that Iadakan has wings, but he doesn't have feathers. His wife did, which makes this a really awkward bit of symbology to use. Also, it's really fucking weird to give someone a proposal ring based after their dead teacher. Less than a year since he died. I don't give a shit about this ring. Give it to her, she needs to bore the beak. Barely parrot. I like how you're saying this. It's such a weird statement to make, considering she literally was planning to move out and back with the Pains. Ika, that's okay, she gave it to her. She's... no need. Shut up. I feel like you should just get rid of these texts, these descriptive texts. Just keep it to the sentences, because it really does give that sense of like, ba 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 ba, back and forth punches. I'm sorry. I really regret doing that day, Inko. I feel like it would work better if you said, I really regret what I did that day. I'm such a fucking idiot. And now I have to give her this expensive ring. How did he afford it? Who paid for this ring? His parents? That makes it a really weird ring. I feel like your proposal ring, your engagement ring or whatever, man, should not be something your parents pay for. Right? Like, even if you get, like, an allowance from your parents, like, at least spend that on it. So it couldn't be that expensive. Unless his parents are really that fucked up. His parents could be that fucked up. Hot dang. I'm only big to protect her even there. The barrier could have made it work. I don't. What is it with the amount of stories out there, right, that are like marriage is a solution to a problem? Marriage is not a solution to a problem. Marriage doesn't fix your relationship or make things better. Marriage makes things worse by putting this pressure on you to perform a certain way in public. It only worsens things that are already going on. It's not medicine. It's, if anything, like the next level. It requires more effort, more strain, more input. And you can't manage the lower levels? What are you doing? If you can't suck a dick, how can I expect you to eat out a woman? What a weird way to put that, Safi. I think the real way to put it is, if you can't ride a unicycle, how can I trust you with my car? I'm searching for you. Why would she have to search? She can see you rolling down the hill! Hearing her say how much she loved you in total shock. I mean, she probably wasn't shocking, like, in a worse place. I don't want to lose you, damn. I want to get to be best man at my wedding, to be the one to take the photos. Yeah, would have been an honor. Echo, please, I need a photographer and I can't afford one. Damien, shut up or you'll wake Vinny up. If that stupid drool of yours touches me. Damien, if you give me an infection, also please cut it down on the fucking Damien. Like, I know, and I do it a lot too, in my first draft before I get rid of it. Okay, we're almost at a good split. Inko, please give me back the blows I gave you. That is way too poetic for Damien. Damien would probably be like, an eye for an eye, Inko. It's only fair, come on. I'm not like you, Damien. I do appreciate that Inko's like, listen, I know that, like, in a lot of cultures, in a lot of ways, that'd be, like, the solution. But, like, Damien, for fuck's sake, the problem isn't the punching. It's the emotion behind it. The gesture is simply a conduit by which expressions are made. Or by which a thing is expressed. Ugh, I'm so bad of late. My linguistic skills are only deteriorating as I get older. It's mostly because I don't sleep well lately. I'm being a big idiot. I watched this Vinny open his eyes, so I gently kicked Damien up. What? He apologized once before leaving. The bastard slipped into my hand without even noticing. I can't believe Damien is a sleight of hand pro, although I guess Inko has only one eye. I won't see you again, Damien, which is really fair. Damien really wanted me to punch him? I mean, he asked for it. I was gonna hit my best, Damien. Ugh. Oh God, in 2 days is the trial. Well, we'll get to that later. But for now, I have to say, as much as this story fucking sucks ass, I feel like Inko's side of the story is definitely the more interesting of the two, because Olivia is just whining and bitching and moaning, which is kind of what she did in Wani anyway. You know, whereas Inko is emotionally forced, or he's trying to force himself to be something else because he feels like he has to, because he just can't do things as they are. He's acknowledged his simpness, and he's had enough. Which means that his story actually has like an emotional crux and like a direction to go. I'm just saying, it's bad, but it's going somewhere, which means my hopes are up, which means it can only get worse from here, baby. Just like Knack 2, the best video game of all time. Also, apparently, this is fun fact, this is recorded the day after Highguard went up, and apparently everyone is really pissed off. Apparently that game that everyone knew was gonna suck ass, because it was chasing trends, sucked ass. Who knew? Hey, shall we go read some Highguard reviews while we're here? I mostly feel bad for the devs. This game was not designed for this level of scrutiny. Everything is blurry and unclear. The map size is the size of Latvia, but you only have 3 players, so most of the time I'm spent running around the map looking for someone to kill. This map is way too big for 3v3. Oh man, the guns are nice to shoot, but feeling inspired. I appreciate that, like, they had the one thing there, and then... And so I've seen people go like, I can't believe Jeff Keighley betrayed my trust. The visuals, even at 100% res scale with no upscaling, are blurry. What the hell? Things like forced motion blur. Get out of here. I hate motion blur. I hate it so much. There are no NPCs to populate that. There aren't? Wait. I was under the impression from the trailer that you'd be like running around killing little mooks like it's a MOBA. The movement and shooting are fine. I was cautious. Man, this is sad. There's no stats being tracked? Really? In a PvP game? There's the gameplay loop. Join the game. 2 teammates leave. Join another game. 3 out of 6 players. Lobby is closing. You're back on the main screen. 5 out of 6. Man, you can't even get in. You gotta play fields mid. You gotta mine some ore to get somebody to buy you. Oh, gosh. I've already seen some people say that like it's really easy to get steamrolled or vice versa because there's only so many people. There's not enough people to really secure boot and TPM 2.0 not detected. Despite messing with my BIOS for 50 minutes, I can't seem to get it to work at all. Played several multiplayer games. Seems it only requires to get in my damn BIOS to make it work. It's not even worth the effort. Forget this. What the hell? Man, I feel bad, right? Like you show up at the end of one of the most watched game awards ever, like millions of people, or hundreds of millions, right? Or at least 100 million, I don't know. But like a whole lot of people, and like the last thing they see is your game. And people are already like, oh, this is bad. And now everyone is calling it Concord 2. We officially have a new genre in video games. It's a Concord-like. I'm also impressed that it went from overwhelmingly negative to mostly negative. So it's picked up a little bit. You know what? Let's look at the positive reviews. There's like 6,000 of them. 6,000 to 13,000. So it's like 2 to 3 to no 1 to 2, 1 to 2. So 1 out of 3. Unfortunately, with ratios, you have to remember that with ratios, all things are concluded. Like saying 2 to 3 is 2 out of 5 and 3 out of 5, and 3 2/5 and 3/5 because 2 2 3 is like there's 2 on one side and 3 on the other, total 5. If you say fractions, like a fifth, because 2 to 3 is like there's the total is 5, but if you say 2 out of 3, then you're saying 2/3 because there's 3 in total and you're saying 2 out of those. It's makes me waggle my finger. This week's punching bags makes a positive review really awkward. I mean, people seem to agree with this positive review, but the game is just fun and odd. The oddness takes a bit of a learning curve. We're balancing to keep the losing phase a bit more dynamic. The basic idea is this, with two main parts: looting a big map like in a Battle Royale system, losing to a game of invading or defending a base, people try to plant bombs in it. I mean, that sounds pretty cool. That sounds like a great idea. I feel like having some NPCs and mooks to shoot at would let you make guns feel a little bit more exciting because you could shoot some dudes and go, hey, I shot a guy. Instead of it always being players. Because if you always shoot players, right, someone has to bite the bullet for you to do your thing. Whereas NPCs can pad out the numbers a little bit and make you feel useful in some other way. Especially since you got loot. If you're going to buy stuff, put some mooks in there. You can shoot the mook to get a little bonus. Players have better bonuses, but if you want to play a little safe, you can just shoot the little guys. You just shoot the little guys no one cares about. Do that. Game is fun, 5v5, but make it better. It's just sad. But like I said, man, is falling down getting better or falling down? I don't know. I think the real question we need to ask ourselves is, where's the sheriff?